Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Ohio State Buckeyes do it again in the 2024 recruiting trail as they land four-star linebacker from the state of Texas, Peyton Pierce. This is a very exciting player and honestly a really cool recruiting timeline for him. James Laurinaitis seeming to be the guy that really helped gain this commitment. You look at what Peyton Pierce was leaning to Notre Dame when James Laurinaitis was at Notre Dame. He obviously comes over to Columbus. And it seems like Ohio State ran away with the recruitment for Peyton Pierce. Now, before we get into it, take a look at how this 2024 class has come together for Ohio State, which, again, so funny to see how all these people saying Ohio State not getting it done on the recruiting trail in 2024. Yeah, now they're doing just fine. Just in the last 10 days, you take a look at what Ohio State has done, landing their quarterback in the 2024 class in Aaron Nolan, top 100 running back James Peoples, and Mylan Graham. Not to mention one of the best players in the whole entire class, Jeremiah Smith, already committed. Ohio State, we talk about recruiting being a momentum game. Ohio State has all the momentum, it sounds like here. Now, do want to say just before we really get into it that I just appreciate all the support you guys have shown. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Ohio State fans will be watching the spring game at noon, giving you guys a recap on Saturday. So stay tuned to that. And again, can't thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown. It really does mean a lot to the fellas. Now, let's talk a little bit about Peyton Pierce. It's really rare to see a guy as developed as Peyton Pierce, right? 6'1", 225 pounds. Weird note, two-time state champion at the heavyweight division in wrestling. You know I love the wrestling, and so I love that. And I really do like Peyton Pierce as a prospect. You talk about where he might finish on this the recruiting timeline. This is a dude that missed most of his junior year with injury. And so I could see him being a riser according to 24/7 Sports on 3 in those recruiting rankings as he gets that senior year film in because he is an absolute specimen of an athlete. Another storyline to take a look at is how good of a job Ryan Day has done developing assistants that are just phenomenal on their recruiting trail, right? Brian Hartline, probably the best in the business, just continuing to bring in elite wide receivers. Obviously played a phenomenal job in the recruitment of Aaron Nolan too, but a guy like James Laurinaitis, again, the commonality is both these guys played at the highest level in the NFL, are younger dudes that can really kind of connect with some of these young athletes who are going through this recruiting process. And you're seeing that pay massive dividends, right? Peyton Pierce, Jeremiah Smith, Mylan Graham all heading to Ohio State. I think a lot of it has to do with how good of a job Ryan Day has done building assistants into just an absolute recruiting powerhouse. And it's clearly paying dividends on the recruiting trail. Now, I want to get a little bit into what Peyton Pierce brings on the football field because, again, you're about to watch his sophomore year tape and just how developed he is as an athlete, as a sophomore in high school at the state of Texas is just incredible. 131 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, 6 sacks, 6 pass breakups. Two things that jump out. One, just the raw athleticism, the ability to go sideline to sideline, but also play extremely aggressive down the hill. You see the 21 tackles for a loss. And then just the feel for the position, which is one of the more impressive things when you watch Peyton Pierce. He just has that instinct at that linebacker position, which is rare. And again, seeing that as a sophomore in high school is really, really cool, right? Reading blocks, having those instincts to make a play. And again, you're going to see him go sideline to sideline. You're going to see him drop back in coverage. He pretty much does it all. Here he's rushing from that 5-tech on the ball edge position, getting it done with the speed rush. This is a guy that I think Jim Knowles is going to do a lot with. And again, the moral of the story on the defense side of the ball is get phenomenal athletes, put them in spots where they're going to be able to be successful. Peyton Pierce is not going to be that hard of a job to put Peyton Pierce in a spot where he's going to be successful. Now, I want to take a look at this 2024 class as well because, again, Ohio State, yes, a slow start. You obviously lose Dylan Raiola. They're doing just fine, right? Jeremiah Stiardi, they're going to bring in elite wide receivers. They have their quarterback of the future. And now this is really the one concern a lot of Ohio State fans had is where are the defensive prospects coming, right? You have all these wide receivers, you have the running back, you have the quarterback. You've done a good job recruiting the offensive line with guys like Ian Moore and the Armstrong twins. Where are the guys on defense? Peyton Pierce is coming for support on the defensive side of the ball. And now I want to take you to the prospects that Ohio State is still really in the mix with. And again, a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball, starting out with 5-star KJ Bolden, the top 10 player in his class. From what it sounds like, it's Georgia, Ohio State, and then maybe Auburn kind of as a dark horse in his recruitment. But KJ Bolden, a lot of traction to Ohio State. You have the Michael. you know Ohio State's going to have a kind of a shot at every single wide receiver in the class. Like everyone, if you're a top 50 nationally player at the wide receiver position, you're going to take a visit to Ohio State and at least see what they have going on. But I want to talk more about the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Justin Scott, it seems like Ohio State and Notre Dame are kind of the two leaders in the clubhouse there. Sammy Brown sounds like he might be a Georgia guy, especially with the commitment to Peyton Pierce, but you got your linebacker. Taking a look at some other guys, Kobe Black, 5-star cornerback. You see they're in it on almost every single guy in the top 25. A couple of guys I do want to highlight, though. Bryce West, it sounds like Ohio State is going to get that commitment to kind of a lockdown cornerback in this class. And take a look, going back to this 2024 class, with only 10 commits in the class, they're going to be sitting at a top 3 ranking. You're feeling phenomenal if you're an Ohio State fan. And again, it's very early. I'm excited to see the prospects that they have on campus during their spring game. It's supposed to be a beautiful day. I can't wait to watch that, watch the quarterbacks battle it out. But again, I can't thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. I think it's going to be a busy, busy month for the Ohio State Buckeyes on the recruiting trail. So make sure you stay locked in. We appreciate all the support for real that you guys have shown. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.